Hi everyone, happy Friday. My internet is back and running, so I'm back in business. I just wanted to go over a couple of things with you from the brainstorming that we discussed. I posted all of the brainstorming types and the definitions, which I expect you to be familiar with. But the two that I said I would explain later were the inverted pyramid and the diagrams, which is on the back of here. So for the inverted pyramid, I just wanted to show you what it actually looks like. It literally is an upside down pyramid or triangle. At the top, we put the most general idea. That's when you get an essay topic, you're not sure what to write about yet, you have to start thinking, brainstorming, right? So that's the general part. Then we move down to the less general, right? So we try to make the idea a little bit less general. And then we do specific, right? And you would say, well, specific, aren't I finished? But you're not quite yet. You have to get to very specific. And this is actually your thesis right there, that tip of the pyramid at the bottom. So it's almost like taking a big thing of sand, right, and throwing it in a funnel, and as it goes through the funnel, right, you're kind of weeding out all the unnecessary parts, and then you get, maybe if you found a diamond or gold at the bottom if you were really lucky, or a shell or whatever you were looking for at the beach. But that's your thesis. Okay, so that's kind of how we move from the general all the way down to the specific. So just to give an example, this is not something we would probably do for an essay, but this is just something to give us an idea. Okay, so we would say food, right? That's very, very general, right? That's super general. Now let's wean it down a little bit. Let's say breakfast food. Okay, so now we're talking less general, right? But we still have no idea what we're talking about because there's so many types of breakfast food. How would you make that specific, right? So maybe let's say eggs. Okay, now that sounds focused enough, but we got to get very specific. So what would you say? Omelet, scrambled eggs, hard-boiled eggs, you pick, right? I'm just going to put, scrambled eggs because that's what my baby girl likes a lot. So scrambled eggs, right? So you see how you went from food to breakfast food to eggs down to scrambled eggs. And that is your focus. That's your most focused point. So that's how we move down the inverted pyramid. Now, once you have a thesis, right, you actually, here's my other side, my cluster diagram. Just focus on the top now. This is something else, so I'll just put a line through it. You actually put your thesis in the center of the cluster diagram, right, the big circle in the middle. And then these connecting things that look like little spaceships are actually your points, right? So let's say this is your main point 1. So technically these would be like your supporting paragraphs, right? Point 2 and point 3. Then these are your examples. So like example A, example B, the same thing, example A, example B, etc. So that's how you take your thesis, you put it in the center, and then you start extending outward. Now don't worry if you look like a big mess of galaxies over here, that's okay, it's all part of the process. So, as long as you have a central thesis, these parts you can always change. You can cross one out, you can add one in, you can play with it as much as you need to because this is all part of brainstorming. Then just the last one at the bottom I just wanted to explain is a Venn diagram. You're probably familiar with this. Maybe you've done these before, and if not, it's fine. So this is how you really compare and contrast two ideas. So you have subject A, right? Sorry, it's supposed to go on the outside. So subject A, right, and subject B. Now you're being asked to compare them. So this is where they differ, right? This is the differences because they're on the outside. But you see the part where they meet in the middle, in that middle of the circles? That's their similarities. So that's how you explain what they have in common versus how they differ. Okay, so, if you wanted to go with my egg analogy before, right, we could say, how do scrambled eggs differ from hard-boiled eggs? And you would say, well, they're both eggs. They both have the same protein, right? So you could put that in the middle. Both eggs, both have protein, both same calorie content. But then on the outside, you would say they're differences. So you could say, like, one has to be actually hard-boiled, right? One has to be scrambled up on a stovetop. One is soft and easier to chew. One might be a little harder depending on how you cooked it, right? One, you could actually separate the yolk from the outside part, right, from the whites. The other, it's all mixed in together. All right, so that's how you do a Venn diagram. That's how you do a cluster diagram. So hopefully this will help you, and especially as we're building towards our essay topics and we're brainstorming this week. All right? See you soon.